Well, hi everybody. How y'all doing? This is Richard. I'm on here again, but I want to cover a few things in regards to strokes. Strokes can come in any form, caused by any type of condition. There are a few common conditions, but they can come in many forms. Some people have strokes that are more affected by various types of conditions. Now, let me explain. My strokes, 3 strokes, was caused because I had a tumor in the heart. They had to remove the tumor, and then when they were removing the tumor, I had a massive stroke on the operating table. The thing is, I still survive. Most have not survived massive strokes. Although there are people who are survivors of massive strokes as well too, but that key thing is survival. And also, once you survive, the various therapies you have to go through are very important. Why? Because some people will go through various things such as depression or even anger, which will cause more problems because it needs to be clinically recognized, because a lot of people will have anger issues which sticks in their brain, and then it causes more situations that could hurt them compared to being more better. So the thing is, anger is one thing, depression is the other. You can get very depressed because it's just what a reaction you will go through because the strokes affected the brain that way. So that also has to be looked at as well too, to make sure how that can be more of a way to where you don't settle on depression. Now, much of those I've gone through myself is because what I had to do is do things that would be forming my brain much in a much better place, such I've done a lot of things in regards to my walking, which makes it very relaxing what I'm doing in that respect, because I've done walking way before the stroke, so I'm used to that. Number two, I take advantage of those walks in the way to be able to do my photography. Now I'm going to venture into more specifics in photography very soon. Such I got a special lens for zooming for other areas of photography when I take the photos. So you'll know more about those in the very near future, especially when there's a full moon out. I'm going to take some good pictures of that. But I'm going to do that. The thing is, others may have strokes because they're triggered by the conditions that they're going through. For example, my wife, I love her very much. My wife had a stroke. It was a major stroke in last year, about in June sometime of last year. So the thing is, she had a major stroke, but that was caused because she had a bleeding ulcer. So the lack of blood flow triggered the stroke. So she's going through a lot of ways to rehabilitate herself as well. And so she's got a few things to help her in that direction, but she'll get there. But the thing is, it is ways of overcoming them. What they have to do, anyone has to do, who've had strokes, who are stroke survivors, has to find and allow the brain to be able to find new pathways. The old pathways are dead. Okay, so the brain destroyed some things. So the brain has to find new pathways. When they rebuild those pathways in a different direction, you'll be able to do a lot of other areas as well too, such as people who have strokes, who have had speaking difficulties known in various other forms. My main form is aphasia. Aphasia is the way you can speak with difficulty. And in the beginning of when I had my strokes back in 2016, I was told I was speaking like I was mumbling. Now, I still have a little difficulty right now, and you might pick up on that, but I have some difficulty, but I'm still getting my words out. but there are some that it has to let the brain recycle, so that way they find the pathways to get the words out. So I'm speaking as good as I can right now, but the pathways have to rebuild themselves. So everything you have to do is repetitiveness. I'll say that again, repetitiveness. So that's a little difficulty I'm having to get the word out. But the thing is, it's repeating everything you have to do. So, for example, I had to watch a lot of various TV from various things like game shows. I watched Family Feud a lot. Of course, I respect Steve Harvey very much, but I liked the show. But it also had questions to answer in the show, which I had to work that out in the brain so that way I could still be able to say what I'm doing right now. There was a few other type of game shows as well too that I had to do and be able to get the brain to build out those new pathways so that way it helped me in regards to speaking again. Of course, I'm still practicing more how I speak, but I'm still able to speak again. Okay, so that's what I'm still going through, and I'm going to continue going through because there are some days that I struggle and get my words out compared to right now. But there are other days that will be a little bit more difficult, so it's still being conscientious of what you need to say and then speak a little slower. Now, I'm just kind of speaking a little fast right now, but it's because I've had to speak slower before, and so I can get my words out a little bit faster today. But other days I have to talk a little slower so that way I get my words out correctly and not have any trouble. But that's what you have to do. But a lot of other areas for the weakness in the body from the strokes could also mean other areas. Now, my side of my body was weak. The hands were weak. I couldn't do anything with the hands. It was very difficult from here, but I can do this now. So there's ways you can still do things by letting the body rebuild itself by having the pathways in the brain focus on the new pathways so that way recovery is much better for you. Now, I'm not saying it's something that's going to be simple, okay? Because I always say this to everybody. It's not a race. It's a journey to succeed and achieve. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to focus on. You have to be positive. You have to do everything in a positive nature. If there's a negative around you, you have to put a stop to the negative by you ignoring it and moving forward so that way you can still stay in the right frame of mind of positive activity. Okay? Otherwise, thank you very much. That's what I had to point out for all stroke survivors who has to meet those challenges and meet them. But meet them in a positive way as I have to recover from these strokes. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.